France is playing a key role, and we need to have sustainable financing models. If you cancel the debt, that means nobody will lend in future. If you tell the lenders, well, we're cancelling all the debt. Since these are models that are not self-financing, well, good luck if you want to find people to lend money. We said to the Chinese, look, you have to join us for the global framework. We applied the global framework to Chad and now for Zambia.
And just to clarify, Emmanuel Macron was saying he is for debt relief, but not debt cancellation. For more, I'm joined by Oliver Farry from our international desk. Hello to you, Oliver. What did you make of those comments?
Well, Emmanuel Macron said yesterday that a financial shock was needed to combat climate change. But what we saw from today was that he wants to revolutionize the system but not blow it up. He's not going to support debt cancellation because he says it will scare away lenders, that credit lines will dry up if that does happen. He's much more in favour of restructuring, and we saw that Zambia had its debt restructuring with the cooperation of the Chinese, who held about 35% of Zambia's debt. They took quite a large write-down on that. It took some convincing, but we've had restructuring since the 1980s, and it's always been accompanied by pain, by austerity for those countries. And so will there actually be anything new? Emmanuel Macron is keeping the system on board. He's keeping the same mechanisms, but it remains to be seen whether there's actually going to be any substantial difference for countries in the global south.
What did Macron have to say about Russia?
Well, he said himself that he would pick up the phone if Vladimir Putin called him, but he has no reason to call him himself. And of course, he has called him quite regularly over the past 2 years, mainly at the request of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for want of an interlocutor. He did have strong words for Russia, but he does not rule out diplomacy. He doesn't like to use the word enemy with regard to trusting Russia in Africa, but he also very pointedly said that Russia was the only colonial power of the 21st century. By that, of course, he meant its invasion of Ukraine. But this was also probably a veiled reference to, or even a veiled warning to France's former colonies, such as Mali and Burkina Faso. Those countries in West Africa have been quite anti-French in recent years. They've expelled French troops from their soil, and he's probably simply saying to them, well, if you think France is bad, wait till you actually get in hock to the Russians. And of course, Wagner, the Russian mercenary group, is active in Mali and other African countries, and he is saying that the French might have been colonial in the past, but the Russians are very much colonial today.
All right, Oliver, thank you very much. Oliver Farry from our international desk.